Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The World Food Programme has suspended distribution of food aid in 2 northern Ethiopian towns after gunmen looted its warehouses. Northern Ethiopia is facing mass starvation amid an ongoing civil war between Tigrayan and government forces. After more than a year of fighting, more than 9 million people are in need of critical food supplies in Tigray. The United Nations said fighters from rebel Tigrayan forces held aid staff at gunpoint in the town of Kombolcha and stole large quantities of essential food and supplies, including some for malnourished children. South Africa has seen a 255% increase in infections in the past 7 days, but only 6% of intensive care beds are occupied by COVID-19 patients. The Omicron coronavirus variant is driving a 4th wave of COVID-19 infections in the country, and the W.H.O say Africa accounts for 46% of reported cases of the variant globally. However, South African doctors and researchers believe the variant only causes mild symptoms. China has warned countries who have announced a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Winter Olympics that they will pay the price for their mistaken acts. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the US, Canada, the UK and Australia would face a loss of moral authority and credibility by politicising sport. It comes as the Winter Olympic flame was displayed at Beijing University. The Games will be held from the 4th of February next year. Indian farmers have called off a long-running protest after the government conceded a number of demands, including assurances to consider guaranteed prices for all produce instead of just rice and wheat. These protests were sparked by new and controversial agricultural laws which deregulated the sector, and opponents feared made farmers vulnerable to big business. Farmers had continued to press for other demands, such as the guaranteed prices, as well as for legal action against protesters to be dropped. Leaders now say they'll meet in January to review progress on the government's assurances. Meanwhile, the bodies of India's defence chief and 12 others who died in a helicopter crash have been brought to New Delhi, where the top general will be laid to rest with full military honours. General Bipin Rawat, his wife and 12 defence personnel were en route to a military staff college in southern India when the aircraft they were travelling in crashed. Only one of the 14 on board survived. Meanwhile, officials have recovered the black box from the site of the crash. The Air Force Mi-17 V5 helicopter came down near the town of Kunur on Wednesday. One of this year's 2 Nobel Peace Prize winners says she hopes the award shines a spotlight on dangers journalists face all over the world.
How much more difficult?
At a press conference ahead of the prize ceremony tomorrow, Maria Ressa said lies circulated on social media containing anger and hate often spread faster and further than facts.
We do hope that when
She and Russian journalist Dmitry Muratov shared this year's award for defending press freedom. Scotland's last remaining coal-fired power station has been brought down in a controlled explosion. Scottish First Minister Nicola Sturgeon pushed the button to detonate the explosives and bring the iconic 600-foot chimney at Longannet power station tumbling down. The power station had ceased operations in 2016. A woman has been arrested after a police chase over a golf course in Florida. Video shared by the Indian River County Sheriff Office showed the woman driving over fairways on the Grand Harbor course in Florida. The chase eventually ends when her vehicle is rammed by a police SUV. The woman now faces several charges. And finally, a Swedish company has built what it says is the first commercially available personal electric aerial vehicle and hopes that in the future it will be able to replace traditional cars. The Jetson 1 is a vertical takeoff and landing vehicle for one person that the company says takes 5 minutes to learn how to fly. The 8-engine flying car sells for $92,000 and can reach a top speed of 102 kilometers an hour. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.